will give a couple of more minutes, then it will automatically make a entries every 1 minute here. So now let it be. So now if you want to suspend this particular task, as I mentioned, just see second entry also came. So every 1 minute it will keep on make entries. So I don't want to run this task automatically. I want to suspend this task now. Alter task, suspend. So this is a kind of a simple method. So if you want to use a cron expression, if you want to use a cron expression, so I'm going to use my time. So now it is a 7:45. So now let me give. It's already crossed the time. Okay, let me put 47. Now it's 7:47. Wait for 1 more minute and we'll see. So we just need to put use cron, and here we'll have a 5 stars. So at what time, at what minutes, and if weekly or in monthly and day. This is weekly day and this is month. This is day of the month. This is hours and this is a minutes. So ideally we need to give kind of a upfront of 2 to 3 minutes. Then it will sync up. I just given a 1 minute difference. Let me see if it is already make entry or not yet. I think this time already crossed, right? So now once this time is crossed, as per this cron expression, it will run tomorrow same time. It won't run repeatedly. Here I have scheduled as a 1 minute, so it will run every 1 minute. But here I have defined as a time frame every day at 7:47. So now let me do one thing. We'll give 5 minutes difference and we'll come back here. 55. It is already started. So let's give 5 minutes. We'll come back for this particular cron. Then we can see that entry in this particular. Oh, sorry. It was my bad. Here I have given a different schema name. Okay. So now I have defined at a 7:55 we'll come back 756 or somewhere, and then we'll see the entry in this particular table. It will make the entry in this particular table. But this is how we can define the cron expression. And this is a standard time schedule. Is it clear how we can define the cron or how we can define the standard time, or any doubt?
So the standard time depend.
Standard means it's a normal. You'll just define minutes only. Every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes or whatever you want. But only cron, you need to specify using cron, and this is the cron parameters and this is the time zone. If you're not giving this time zone, it will by default consider as a UTC, but always will give as a UTC. Snowflake will run any UTC. Since I have given Asia Kolkata is for our IST time zone. If I'm giving UTC, so now if we run this particular current timestamp, so this is the Snowflake time as of now. It is the 1921 UTC, but we are in Indian time zone. So I'm just specifying that particular time zone. Is it clear or anybody has any queries?
No, sir, clear.
So now if you want to see like what are the tasks are executing from last one. So this is comes under the kind of a troubleshoot. I'll come to this point later. So now we have seen as a kind of a individual SQL statement calling as part of the tasks. But coming to the real-time projects, most of the times, I mean to say like 60 to 70% of time, we will prefer to execute procedures as part of these tasks. So now, like if you see the same insert statement, whatever I have mentioned there, I can put inside this particular procedure. So we have a separate session for these procedures and functions. So don't worry about this. So these procedures and functions, it is a similar to Oracle PL/SQL. So you can write these procedures three different languages: JavaScript, SQL, and Scala. Snowflake is providing flexibility, but in real time, mostly I have seen SQL and JavaScript people use because those are the languages people are comfortable. But the beauty of the Snowflake procedures is even though you are writing the JavaScript procedure language, you no need to like know each and everything inside in and out of this JavaScript technology. So there is a standard template will be there. You are going to use the standard template and you are going to implement these store procedures. But if you are not still not comfortable with that, you can go with the SQL language and you can write normal DML operations or DDL operations as part of the procedures. That I'll show. I'll take one example of the procedure and I'll walk through you people like you will get more clarity on that as part of the procedure session. But as of now, I'm doing. I'm just creating the procedure here and returns what I want to return the value is this is the values I want to return. So I defined as a HR and language is a JavaScript and this is the standard syntax for this particular procedure. So now if I'm creating this particular procedure, this procedure is successfully completed. How we can call the procedure? By using a call and that particular procedure name. So if you execute this particular procedure and if you go to that user table, you can see the entry is present. So these two as part of the task execution make an entry into this particular table. But now I'm using a this Scott and current date. So now if you see there is an entry present in this particular table. If I'm executing this particular procedure again, new entry will come into the particular table. See? So now you can call this particular procedure as part of the task. So every 1 minute and you can use this call statement as part of this particular task. Now four entries are there. So now just execute this. and you can see these tasks and you can need to resume this task first. I have resumed this task. See, now you need to note a difference here. How I'm calling the procedure as part of the task. That is one thing. And how I'm executing the individual statement as part of the task. Here it could be anything. You can create a table, you can run a merge statement, you can do insert, you can do update, you can do delete as part of this particular procedure. You can do whatever you want and you can call that procedure. So basically, if you are performing any DML operations and all, so always we will put all the DML operations together inside this particular procedure and we call that procedure as part of this task execution. That's how the process we follow in our real-time projects. Check this particular table. 4 entries are there. If you give one more minute, the fifth entry also will come. So is it clear so far? Any doubt?
Yes, clear, sir.
See, that I have given the load data cron. I have defined the cron expression. What I'm doing as part of the insert data into the demo task. So now if you see the demo task is may have a entry that the task is executed and made that entry with the cron expression also. So now before going to the dependency or task dependencies, so far is it clear how we can create the task, how we can use the standard schedule, then how we can use the cron expression, how we can call individual SQL statement, how we can call procedure as part of the task. Is it clear all these points? Any doubts with respect to these points?
No, sir.
What about
Sir,
others? Yes. If somebody is asking something. Okay. So now we'll see how we can deal with the dependencies. So we have discussed about the DAGs, right? DAG in the sense like multiple tasks we are defining and we are executing the sequence manner one after one. So how we can deal with that? So now for example, what I'm doing here, take up, I'm just having a sales stage table and the date stage tables, and I want to do that aggregation and I want to populate that aggregation into the target table. So now for example, if you see here, just assume in the staging area, I have a sales and date, but I want to join both tables and I want to calculate that aggregation and I want to populate that aggregation into the final table. So in real time also, most probably the way like whenever we are doing aggregations, whenever we kind of transformation is nothing but like however the business wants to display the data, right? So that's how we need to create the tables as per the business requirement and we need to give access to them. So that is what we are going to do here also as part of this demo. So now for example, this is my store sales stage table. So I have taken this table from this particular Snowflake sample data only. So I have taken one particular ID and the same ID is present in this date dimension stage table also. This date dimension stage table also I have taken from this particular sample Snowflake database. It is a kind of a use table, so I have taken some limited number of records. So now if we see, so now for these two IDs, I want to join these two tables and I want to calculate the total summary value for that particular date. So now what I'm doing, I'm creating a, so now this is my target table. I want to populate the date and the total quantity and the total sales of the price. How many quantities I have ordered and what is the total sales. So this is the data table. I mean, this is the final table. I'm going to give a business. So now here I want to join these two tables and I want to do the aggregation calculation and I want to insert the data into this particular final target table. So now I'm going to create a multiple tasks to achieve this. So the same way we will do in a real time also. So now If you don't want to create these many tasks, you can define all these things as part of the procedure, and you can call the procedure as part of one task. So that procedure will take care everything. So that also we can do it. But here, in order to showcase for the dependency of the tasks, I'm going with the multiple tasks. But the same functionalities, whatever I'm doing as part of these tasks, I can accommodate as part of the one procedure. I can use only one task, and I can still achieve whatever I want to achieve here. So now what I'm doing, first I'm creating one particular task. So instead of cron expression, we will give some, okay. So now it is a 8 1, right? I'm just creating a root task I have created. What I'm doing, I'm creating a transient, or you can create a temp table also. So here, since these are the tasks, right? So I'm just using a transient table. If you are using a procedure, you can go with the temporary tables. So this is where the real-time use case of the temporary and transient tables will come into the picture. So now here I'm creating a transient temp table like this particular store sales. Then the next task, what I'm doing, inserting the data into this particular temp table based on that particular store sales stage. So here, instead of this, you can use this also. Either way is fine. Either way you can do it. So now, as part of the first task, what I did, I create a temp table. And second task, what I'm doing, inserting the data into that particular temp table. Here the important thing you need to understand, what I'm putting here, the schedule is after root task, which means once the root task is started and executed, I want to trigger this. Once the root task is completed, then I want to execute this particular task. Then the third task, what I'm doing, after task 2 is executed, I want to calculate aggregation for the requirement. I'm going to create this particular hardware. Then task 4, after task 3, I want to insert into the final target table. Then finally, I want to drop the sample table, because here I have created a sample table by calculating that aggregation, and I am going to convert the data into that my target table, and I'm going to drop this particular sample aggregate table. So now I want to resume these tasks. So let me resume it first. So whenever you are resuming, we need to go in a reverse order. Before coming to the root tasks, we need to resume the child tasks. Then you need to resume the root task. So now I have resumed all these tasks. So now let me see the tasks already started or not. All are started. So I have given time frame is 8:06. So we will wait for a couple of minutes. Then we will see. So meanwhile, let me again walk through the steps whatever I have taken care here. See, now my requirement is, these are the two stage tables I have, and I want to join these two tables, and I want to calculate the total aggregation of sales. How much is happened. So now if you see this particular table for that particular date and how many total quantity, what is the total sales. So now these are the two tables I'm going to use as a input tables. Just assume these are the two tables are available in the staging layer. So now first task, I'm going to create one temporary table and I'm going to take the temporary table from the stage table data into this temporary table. See now here, since for our demo purpose, I'm taking everything, okay. But in real time, if you want, like we are dealing with very huge data and all, so you can put limit and you can take few records, or you can put a where condition. If you want to do the calculation for a particular location, particular country, you can give that filter condition here and you can do that calculations. So for example, if I want to take a particular store details here, I'm creating one temporary table. This particular table having all the stores details, but I want to calculate for a particular store, then I can put where condition and I can give store s1 and I'm taking the store s1 details, and then what I'm doing, I am calculating the aggregation. I am calculating the aggregation. So whatever the data I have taken temporary table here, I'm using the temporary table and I'm using the date dimension table, stage table, applying the join condition here, and I am calculating total sum, total quantity, total sales price. Then I'm storing this result into another transient temporary table, not temporary, another transient table. Then what I'm doing, I'm inserting the data from this particular transient table to the main target table. So once my data is available in the target table, I can drop that particular transient table because I have taken the table is for my temporary purpose only. I just am dropping that particular temporary table. So now this entire flow will be taken care by the Snowflake, and finally the result will be available into the target table. That's how we will do in a real time also. And the same things, whatever I have defined here, the same thing, if I don't want to create a multiple tasks, I can do, I'll create a one particular procedure and I can put all this into that particular procedure, and I can call that procedure as part of the one particular task, and when the task is executed, automatically will be taken care. So now if you see these tasks are already time is crossed, right? So now first let's see these tasks are executing or not. So now first task, what I have defined, root task ideally should create the temp table. Is it the temp table is created or not? Then just verify it. See, temp table is created. Temp table is created, and the second step I have loaded the data into the temporary table. So I can see the data, which means the second task also is executed. Now the third task is aggregation. Is it completed or not? You can do the select and you can see, because I'm creating a transient table, right? See, this is will comes under your debugging or troubleshoot also. If something is goes wrong, like as part of the procedure also, if you're calling that procedure and if still the data is not available in the final table, and if you want to see where it went wrong, so you can execute individual steps of select statement and you can see is it that particular step is successfully done or not. That's why I have included all this functionality in this particular demo. What we are doing in a real-time project, the same thing I'm doing here. Now sample table aggregate data also is populated. Now final table is populated or not, we'll see. Store sales target, not yet. Maybe it might be running. So till four task is completed, and fifth one is running. We will see. It will take a couple of minutes. same data will be populated into the final table. So, okay, see here, my final table structure is a different and this particular structure is a different. If you see sample table having how many columns here? 4 columns. Okay. Now if you go to that my final target table, how many columns are there? Only 3 columns. So what I have mentioned here, what I'm doing here as a select star,
Table.
right? So the column numbers will mismatch, right? So that's why this step is not executed yet. It might fail. The column numbers mismatch, right? So now how I can see what are the tasks are successfully executed, what are the tasks are failure. So now if you see, like I have shown you, right? Like this is the particular how we can troubleshoot the tasks. So now if you give root tasks, it will show when it got executed and what is the next schedule time. So the next schedule time it is again tomorrow. So as per the duties it will show here. So today execution is already done. It will schedule for tomorrow and it is succeeded. You can see error code and error message, nothing is there. But if you see the task 4, right? Let me see the task 4. See, it is saying it got failed. What it is saying? Insert value list does not match with the column list expecting 3 but got 4. That's why this task is got failed. So how we can troubleshoot the task failures means how we can see the errors and all. So this is the table function by default built-in table function provided with the Snowflake. So you can see the task history. From this task history, you can see from last 1 hour or last 30 days or history. You can go back and you can check and you can provide the, I mean these parameters is up to you. If you don't want to provide any parameters here, directly select star from table information task history. So these parameters you can customize it, but if you want to give like if you want to see all the details also we can able to see. Maybe we need to use some particular exact parameter. I can refer the document and I can give that one here, but I want to see only last 1 hour and I want to put a result limit also 100. But this is not a mandatory. Maybe you can give only for the time frame, not other parameters and all, and you can see the all task execution status here. So the important factor whenever if somebody is asking how we can troubleshoot the task failures, you need to mention or you need to refer this particular from the task history. So now if you see, I'm just using a union for all the tasks. Same query I'm executing for all the tasks and I can see. So now we can see here. So what is the root task? What is the task 1, task 2, task 3? So if you see for all the tasks, error code and error message is null, but only for this particular task, it is showing as a error. So based on this error, you will get to know which task is having a problem, which statement is having a problem, and you can go there and you can correct that particular one and you can rerun it, that entire cycle. So now, for example, if you want to correct this particular one, you can correct this and you can recreate this particular task. What is saying? Unable to update graph with the root task since the root task is not suspended. So this is the another important key point here. If the multiple tasks in a particular graph, you cannot update or you cannot modify the child tasks immediately until you suspend the root task. So while resuming it, we'll go with the reverse order. But while suspending it, we'll see how it goes. What it is saying? Unable to update the graph because first we need to suspend the root task. Then you can suspend the other tasks. So now we can go ahead and you can update this particular, you can recreate this particular task 3. Done. So this is how you can deal with the dependency of the tasks, or you can schedule multiple tasks in a tree structure. Key important thing is whenever you want to run multiple tasks in a sequence manner, you want to go with this particular after scheduling, not regular schedule. So only the root task will schedule based on your cron or standard time. So whenever you are running sequence of tasks, we won't go with the every 5 minutes, 10 minutes because it will take some time, right? So we'll go always with the cron expression only. But after this, every time you need to go after root tasks, it should execute. After task 2, it should execute. After task 3, it should execute. This is how we can deal with the dependency. So when we are resuming, first we need to start with the child task. But when we are suspending, first we need to start with the root task. That is the important thing.
Can you please repeat it?
When you are suspending, first we need to start with the root task. So what I mean to say, see, now I have these 5 tasks, right? So all these 5 tasks, we know after creating the tasks, we need to resume it. We need to resume it. So while resuming these particular tasks, these are the tasks I have. Okay, so now when I'm resuming these particular tasks, first I need to start with the child task, which means in a reverse order. First I need to resume the least one child, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then finally root task I can resume it. But while suspending it, first I need to start with the root task. First I need to suspend the root task, then I can go down. These are the key important points you need to note down whenever you are dealing with the multiple tasks. But in real time, we won't get this very frequently about these task functionalities, but occasionally we need to do these functionalities. Instead of most people will prefer to, instead of going with the multiple tasks, if it is a possible through procedure, they'll create one particular procedure and they will call that particular procedure as part of this task. So we'll do the same exercise when we are discussing about the procedures. I'll take on sample procedures which we'll use in a real time and I'll walk through you people. So whatever I have done, same thing I can do through the procedure and I can call that procedure with the task. But the functionality whatever we have done, same functionality we used to do in a day-to-day activities as part of the real-time project. So that's all from my end. Sorry I took a little bit more time today, but if you have any queries, please let me know.
If we have the sir, can you do we can do some hands-on regarding this task tomorrow?
Yeah. So
Because now we are what you have done is a theoretical thing, but unless and until we do it on this on our framework, and till then we won't know what we are doing.
I'll share the scripts. You can do you can dirty your hands and come up with your queries.
Okay, so tomorrow you will do that, sir.
No, you I'm sharing these particular scripts with you. You people try from your end and come up with your queries.
Okay,
If you
okay.
are facing any issues, then I can help you on that.
Sir, one more thing was like yesterday we had decided that there are some 4 to 5 doubts which regarding in my team. So
Okay.
when it will get solved
That we can do a workshop probably this weekend. We will set up some time and we'll do that.
this weekend.
Yes. So I think Saturday, I don't know if people got update or not. I got update from Neha saying maybe I'm going to take interviews for whatever the topics we have covered so far.
Okay,
So maybe as part of that, once that is done, we can do. If it is not possible, we can do on Monday.
okay.
So meanwhile, you can prepare for all the Snow SQL components. So far, whatever we have completed, at least like theoretically or functionally, how it works, when to use which one. And similarly, other teams also come up, keep it handy of all your queries. And I would recommend before coming to me as a team leads, you can discuss internally yourself and come up with one final set of queries. Now, at least thanks Rakshit, you come up with something like as per our team, but I'm expecting same thing should come from other teams as well. So if a team lead is having that queries, consolidated queries, then team leads have a quick connect and discuss, is it like there are any common queries are there, or there are any new queries are there. Help each other. If everything is like one final set is consolidated, maybe like out of these 20 queries, 4 or 5 queries is not clear or is like a kind of a having a doubts, then it will be easy for me to clarify those and we can within less time we can able to complete that. Is it fine?
Okay, sir.
Yep.
Sir,